Alright, we got a edger here that came in for a no start, and these usually we get a lot of these every single year right at the start of the season, and usually it's because people will leave fuel inside or not clean their air filters, but usually it's a fuel issue, and they'll leave their fuel inside all winter, not drain out the carburetor. The fuel will go bad, and then clog up your carburetor jets, and you won't have any luck trying to start it. So whenever we get these in, it's more or less a basic service with maybe a carb cleaning, and we start off by draining out the fuel. Can never trust the customer's fuel on these, and even if they say they put in new fuel, if you still have old fuel inside of the bowl of the carburetor, you're not going to be able to start it because it's still old fuel. Alright, so we're just going to get the air filter checked out here. The basics is air, fuel, and spark. So our air filter looks clean. This one actually wasn't that bad. So now that we have replaced the spark plug, which I did off camera, drained the fuel, checked the air filter, we're going to top it off with fresh fuel, something we know we just got out of the gas station, so we know it's okay. And then we're going to try and start it. And we're going to have a hard time starting it. And this would go back to the carburetor being probably clogged with random stuff, with whatever debris fell in there when they were using it, or whatever little particles or crystals ended up growing inside from the old gas. So we're going to start taking our air box off, and we're going to pry off these fuel lines, and we're going to get this carburetor off. This took me a little bit of time because the fuel lines were kind of stuck onto the ends here, and I kept on trying to clean in and around this the carb here to try and prevent any more dirt or anything from going in. I also decided to pull out a bore scope on this, and decided to do that because when I was pulling it, it felt a little low on compression, and I wanted to check to make sure the cylinder was okay. It could also just be low in compression because because it's been sitting all winter and it hasn't really been ran, and everything was just a little bit dry in there, but there were no bad scoring or anything. So I'm constantly trying to clean these carburetors when I have them off, because we don't want any amount of dirt inside those jets will stop it from running. So it's a pretty simple 10 millimeter take off the bowl, then a flathead to get your main jets out. And we're lucky enough to have an ultrasonic cleaner at the shop, so I stick the main body inside of that while I take a small wire and poke out these holes, poke out the jets. Spray out the jets. There you go. You can see that the jets are actually shooting nicely. So it might have just been a piece of dirt inside of the main body itself. There's a lot of small veins that go along the side of the carbs that you can't really reach with anything, so it's helpful to have a ultrasonic cleaner in this case. And we put our jets back in, put our bowl back on. And then we tighten the bowl by hand and not with an impact gun, because the very bottom of these can bend really easily, and if that happens, you'll never be able to seal up your bowl, and it would always be leaking out the bottom. So you want to be very careful tightening these. It's just a little bit of pressure is okay. And then we're going to start. So it runs nicely, and there's probably a piece of dirt inside the car body itself that prevented it from running. From here, we're gonna lower it off this bench and let it idle outside so I can do an oil change. But that's more or less the basic service with a carb clean.